Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and thanks for tuning in to another epic battle in Rome 2 Total War. This was a 2 vs 2 submitted by James the Great, who has been a long-time subscriber and supporter of the channel, so thanks very much, man, for submitting this one. We've got some Roman Civil War in today's battle, so I do hope you guys enjoy, and let's take a look at the army comps. The first army on the battlefield today is Galatia, and this one is commanded by Brown Cowballs. And he's got a very strong infantry force on the battlefield today, but he's also brought a few units of Celtic slingers here in the front lines, so 3 units of them. And then he's also brought 3 units of Levy Freemen as well, so these guys are probably going to be used to absorb a lot of the enemy ammo. They're a very cheap spear units, so they can help in cavalry engagements, but most of the time they're used as just a throwaway unit. And then he's gone for 9 units of Galatian legionaries, so really spamming out those legionaries. They're very cost effective and they're very solid in melee. But he does have a few units of standard Galatian swords as well, 2 units of them. His general over here is a noble horse unit, and the actual general would probably be this guy here. And he also has 2 units of light horse on the flanks as well. So that is it for the Galatian forces, so let's go ahead and take a look at their allies. The second army on the battlefield we have today is Rome. This one is commanded by James the Great. He's also bringing slingers. He's got, I believe, 4 units of slingers in the front lines here. And then he has 2 units of Vigiles. So again, a cheaper medium spear infantry in the front line. So 3 units of them. And then he's got a Roman Levy unit over here. And a unit of Evocati cohort and a unit of cohort. So he's got 1 cohort, 1 Roman Levy. And he's got another long line right at the back of Evocati cohort. So he's actually got 7 in total. For the general's bodyguard, we've got the Equite Cataphractory bodyguard, so all in gold there, looking really nice. And the rest of his cavalry over here, we have Equites, so 3 units of them, so bringing a lot of good shock cavalry to the battlefield. And that is it for James the Great's army, so let's go ahead and take a look at the enemies. The 2 enemy armies on the battlefield today are going to be looked at together because they've actually deployed all together in one big formation. So we have, first off, Rome, commanded by Antionadis Costas. I hope I said that correctly. And then we have Sparta, commanded by Ricky 2.0. And right in the front lines we'll look at Sparta's unit first. He's got 5 units of Perioikoi pikemen, which will be holding the front lines. And then he's got a couple units of Royal Spartans over on the flank here, 2 units of them. He's got a unit of Perioikoi spears. He's got a couple units of Heroes of Sparta, with the General's bodyguard being in the Heroes of Sparta unit. So 2 of them, looks like. And then he's got another Royal Spartan over here. And for his archers, he's got a few units of mercenary Cretan archers. So that's pretty much his force. The Romans kind of deployed across the battlefield as they are needed. So he's got some cav over here, some Soci Equite Extraordinari. He's got some Vigiles, some Hastati. He has 3 units of Legionary cohort, 1 here and I believe 2 on the other side. Or sorry, he's got 4. He's got 2 here and then 2 on the other side. He's also got 2 units of Triarii, 1 on each side here in square formation. So you can see that the formations kind of match on both sides here. But he's also got a few units of Hastati as well, which is a very cost-effective unit. Quite cheap, but they can hold their own. And it looks like he's got another Triarii in the center with some Spear Gladiators. And for the rest of his cav, he's got a unit of Praetorian Cavalry, which is a melee cavalry unit. And then we've got the General and Bodyguard for Rome as well. So that is it for the army comps, so hopefully you guys do enjoy the battle. So the battle begins with a pretty extensive skirmish phase from both sides. The Spartan-Roman alliance is relying mostly on archers, whereas the Galatian-Roman alliance has brought slingers. Now, the slingers do have more ammo, but they've only got a 20 missile damage to the archers' 40. But the slingers will come in handy after the skirmish phase is over, and they will be able to start focusing down those Perioikoi pikemen, because those Perioikoi pikemen have the potential to win the battle for the Spartan-Roman alliance. Even really elite infantry like Evocati Cohort and Galatian legionaries seem to suffer against pike units unless they can get on the flanks or they can get, you know, a rear charge on them. Attacking them head-on is usually a suicide. But we've got the Galatian player over here moving forwards what looks like some Levy Freemen here, which is how he's using them as I thought he would, by just using them as a meat shield. And look how much ammo they're soaking up here. We've got several units focusing on this one unit here. It looks like they're going over here for the auxiliary Balearic Slingers, getting a huge Pila throw into the sides of them. And it looks like they are going to retreat. Are they breaking? No, they're not breaking. They're wavering now, but well done by Brown Cowballs by using this unit very effectively, because Levy Freemen really don't get any kills once they are moved into melee. So using them to soak up a lot of this enemy fire means that his more elite infantry, like all of these Galatian legionaries here, are completely untouched as they move to flank around the Roman side here. He's actually screening them with 2 more units of Levy Freemen as well, so I think only the Levy Freemen would be in range. And look at this. These units must either be on fire at will, or it's a newer player that doesn't realize that these are such cheap units. But I think that the Galatian player is more than happy to throw away these Levy Freemen to protect his Galatian legionaries. But this is exactly what I would have done in this scenario. So a lot of people in Total War will tell you that the #1 rule is you always need to keep your armies together. Don't split up your forces. Don't be too far from your teammate. But in this situation, I think that it's warranted and it's a good idea. Because, like I said, charging this pike wall here is almost suicide. There's really little you can do against pike phalanx in Rome 2. They are really overpowered and really solid on the battlefield, which they should be. They were the dominant, you know, Greek phalanx the Greek phalanx was quite the dominant power in this time period, especially with Alexander the Great. He did use pikemen very effectively. But James the Great and Brown Cowballs here, they're doing kind of exactly what I would do, is they're focusing on the softer flanks with all of their units. You can see a lot of the Galatian legionaries over on this flank, and same with James the Great here. He's got all of his elite Evocati cohort over to face the Royal Spartans over here. And he's also got his Roman levies and his vigiles in here in front of the Evocati cohort. That's because these Spartan units will most likely have a Pila that they can throw. So having the Pila thrown against the cheaper units of Roman levies is a better option. But it looks like they are going to get a Pila throw and focus down on this unit of Perioikoi pikemen. And then there we go, the enemy Romans actually focusing these Roman levies with their own Pila. But that, again, protects all of the Evocati cohort over on this side. Let's go ahead and put this on slow motion, because it's a very quick battle. But James the Great, with his slingers over here, has almost annihilated this unit of Perioikoi pikemen, which is a big problem for this mainline force. I think that the Spartan player realizes this, so he's brought his Cretan archers back over here to focus down those slingers. You can see that one of his slingers is breaking. But let's take a look at what's going on over here. We've got the Galatians already charging into melee here. So let's watch this a little bit. See how the Galatian legionaries do against the Roman legionaries. I think their stats are pretty similar, but I'd have to confirm. I haven't really looked at it. But he's also charged his Levy Freeman in there as well to help add numbers to the mix. Now, this flank for Rome is a little bit weaker, though, because I'm seeing a lot of Hastati over here, and Hastati against Galatian legionaries, the Hastati are definitely going to lose that. He's also got, I think, what are these? Yeah, he's got some Vigiles over here, too. The Spartans do have some Royal Spartans and Heroes of Sparta here, which is good, but I'm noticing that a lot of the elite Roman infantry, like the Triarii and the legionary cohort, are over on this flank to face the Evocati cohort from James the Great. But James the Great and Brown Cowballs already have their units of cavalry in behind the enemy's formation, so that is a big problem, because the Spartan-Roman alliance is now pretty much surrounded on all sides. But here we go, we've got a nice Pila throw, but the Roman shield soaking up most of that. as they charge in. Looks like they're going for the Vigiles first, but the Evocati cohort is following close behind. And we've actually got some Evocati cohort that have moved in through the gap where those pikemen used to be, and the Spartan general having to be committed into melee very early on in the battle to hold back these Evocati cohort and not allow any more to penetrate into this C formation that they have going on here. But let's go ahead and put this back onto play. Balance of power a little bit in favor of the Galatian Roman alliance, but this is far from over. But it looks like we've got some cavalry charges coming in over here. We've got the Equites moving forwards. It looks like they probably will charge onto the backs of these legionary cohort here. That's exactly what's going to happen. Nice, huge hit there, knocking most of the unit down. However, we've got some enemy triarii over here that are going to pen in this cavalry unit, and the spears are going to make short work of the cavalry. So the flankers have become the flank. Looks like one unit of cavalry is going to get out of there, and that is the general and bodyguard. So, yeah, he's lucky to get out of there alive. We've got James the Great's general over here. The Perioikoi pikemen have been routed, as we've seen before. But it looks like we got some light horse over here that are willing to charge into the backs of the Romans, and the Spartan player is not helping over here. He's just tucking in his lines, and unfortunately what this does is it basically leaves all these Romans to the slaughter. Really soft charge by the light horse there, barely getting a charge off on those auxiliary Syrian archers, and the Hastati are bravely holding against these Galatian legionaries. Looks like we've got some of the Roman legionaries over here as well to help out. Now, do we have some breaking over here? No, it looks like they're being surrounded a little bit, so Rome is kind of containing this area, but we've got some light horse coming over here, getting a nice side charge into the Hastati and a rear charge into the depleted legionary cohort there. And we've just got an all-out brawl here. It looks like some Praetorian cavalry and Soci Equite Extraordinari are engaged against melee infantry. Not really the best. We've also got the enemy Roman general moving in here to get a rear charge, but he is very depleted, so that is quite risky. James the Great's general at 80 men. This is such a powerful general's bodyguard unit. We've already got some Evocati cohort getting into this newly formed square here from Sparta. But the Romans are holding much better over on this flank, especially with the help of the Spartans. The Royal Spartans and Heroes of Sparta in hoplite formation are very strong. Don't want to spend too long in one place, though, because this is a very fast-paced battle for Rome, too. Look at this. We've got some Equites charging into the backs of the Triarii and Legionary cohort here. And we've got the Evocati cohort in here as well, so it looks like they actually outflank the Triarii. So well done there. The Spartan general here holding bravely against a very long line of cohort. And man, another charge of the Equites into the back of the Royal Spartans. But they are so sturdy. And here we go, the Perioikoi pikemen have kind of been split up to deal with the Evocati cohort, and look how much they suffer now. This cheaper unit of pikemen is easily able to hold back the very expensive Roman units. Except when you get a nice rear charge like that. My goodness. Was that the general? No, it wasn't. It's just a unit of Equites. But now we've got the Royal Spartans, the Spartan player really aware on the battlefield here of where he's trying to move his troops, actually saving most of this unit of pikemen here from a really hard-hitting charge. You can see stop most of the unit of cavalry there with this unit of Royal Spartans. But yes, the Galatians, with the help of James the Great's cavalry, have pretty much wrapped up the Romans on this flank. And now the Perioikoi pikemen are being attacked from the sides. This is the way I was saying you can beat Perioikoi pikemen from the sides by attacking them, because a lot of them will drop their pikemen and take out their swords. But as for the units charging head-on, you can see that the Galatian swords here just get cut down. It's a lot easier from the side. I know a lot of this is common sense, but you never know when somebody new is watching my videos, or new to Total War. So yeah, I think those pikemen are broken there. But the Spartans, their lines are pretty much gone now. It's basically just pockets of fighting here with 3 minutes left in the battle. We've got some Royal Spartans here fighting the Evocati cohort. We've got some Perioikoi pikemen trying to save the general, but another cycle charge from the noble horse. This is the Galatian general coming in now. Actually, they kind of charge mostly into the backs of the Evocati cohort, though, so saving the Royal Spartans. But James the Great does have a couple of units of Evocati cohort coming in. And look at all these Galatians that will be coming over here soon. I'm interested to see what this general is doing. He's going right for the Spartan general. The Spartans do see that, and they tried to form up, but it was a little bit too late. Man, this cataphractory is just a heavy-hitting unit at 80 with the horse, too. Most generals' bodyguards are about 40, so having 80 in that unit is pretty powerful. But the Spartans are kind of being hemmed in from all sides. You can see that they're trying to form up in a little bit of a defensive position. However, these Romans over here are actually throwing their pila into the sides of the Spartans. Fight on, brave Spartans. Yeah, they are holding over here, holding as well against the Evocati cohort. It looks like they are doing well at cutting down the noble horse as they try to pull away. This is a unit of 80 as well. So it must be with the new factions that are playable in the Empire Divided update that the generals are 80 now. But look at this. Look at these Spartans over here. They formed a triangle formation, so they're holding out to the last man. Very, very cool here. We've got a massive amount of Galatians just pushing in from this flank, and we've got the Romans in from over here. And look at this. We've got some Spartans actually outside of the kind of final stand that are now flanking around these Evocati cohort. But here comes a huge hit from the general's bodyguard. Actually not too effective, surprisingly. What an epic last stand here. What else do we have fighting out here? Any units still holding? We've got one unit of Royal Spartans holding against all of these units. Trying to get a rear charge there with the noble horse, but I think it was blocked by the Equites. And there we go. Looks like we're starting to get some wavering here. And there we go. It was possibly that this player did admit defeat, but a costly victory for the Galatian-Roman alliance. So let's take a look at the results there. So Sparta holding till the last. Very, very good there. Getting a ton of kills. 1,736. It was mainly the Romans here didn't get as many kills, but then again, they kind of were left a little bit out to dry by the Spartans. He didn't want to commit too much to that right flank, so he did form that extra defense, but it was a little ways behind the Roman lines, and that allowed James the Great and Brown Cowballs to get some nice rear charges into the Roman hastati there. But James the Great, with his cavalry doing pretty well. His slingers 110, 99, and 110. That is good. And let's see, from the Evocati cohort, it's a mixed bag. Some of them getting high kills, but some of them not so much. Looking at the Galatian swordsmen doing pretty well all around. Most of them getting over 100 kills. Even these Galatian swords that are cheaper than the legionaries getting over 100 kills. And the Levy Freemen did their job. This was the one that was probably focused down early on, but these two units still managed to get a decent amount of kills. Looking at the enemy Roman player, this unit of Cav, well done, 167. But the hastati did hold, but again, they were kind of left out on their own to get rear charged, but some of the legionaries did get not too bad as far as the kill count goes, 118 and 159. The Triarii should have got more kills than that. I don't know why they only got, 67 as the highest there. Usually they get about 100 kills. Looking at the Spartans, the heroes of Sparta 113, really well done with his archers, actually, getting a lot of kills there. But the pikemen, yeah, 521 33. So that was just came down to the Roman and Galatian alliance not engaging this pike wall head on. If they had engaged the pike wall head on, it probably would have been a Spartan Roman victory. But these royal Spartans here at the end, all getting really high kills. And even this Periokoi spear, which is a cheap unit, 164. So well done. So that is it for this battle. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future. And I will see you in the next one.